Welcome to level 10 of the Highline Ticklist, the final level of it. And I have to admit that I don't manage every trick of this level. I'm gonna show them as good as I can. Anyway, give advice, and at least one or two tricks somebody else will show for you. Let's get started with the shoulder roll. For this, obviously, you have to have a very solid shoulder bounce. And when you go from feet, it's just a bigger bounce, which allows you to rotate more easily. And mostly when trying a shoulder roll for the first time, there is a commitment problem that you end up in chest bounce, that you start with like shoulder position, rotate and end up here. And that's just because everything in your body tells you not to fall to this side. So overall, you just have to commit, lean further towards the line, and eventually you will get it. Okay, let's go to shoulder. I look at the anchor point, rotate around, fix the anchor point with my eyes, and try going back to feet on this level. Okay, that was the shoulder roll. So let's get to the Darth Vader. Here it's really important to have the leash on the side, and on that side with which hand you stay on the line. One hand you totally let go, the other hand has to re-grab while doing the front flip beside the line. So don't stick hard to the line, but try to be soft in the hand once you start the rotation, that you kind of re-grab it. And you can also do the pre-exercise on a rodeo line, where you kind of do a somersault beside the rodeo line while holding the rodeo line in your hand, that you know what you have to do with the hand motion. For me, it's the left hand that stays on the line. Pre-exercise is to do this trick to sofa and later on to feet. Another trick where I'm pretty weak at. Let's see if I get the lucky punch this time. Whew. Over rotated, pretty happy with that. And in Ian's tutorial you can learn more about this trick. He's much stronger at the Darth Vader and therefore also better in explaining how it works. The Darkside Roll is kind of a sick, nasty roll to feet. So also pre-exercise, of course, the sick, nasty roll. You have the leash on the side. You bounce down to sofa, grab the line here. And you can also try as a further pre-exercise to go to belly. So as a pre-exercise, the sick nasty roll. And here you can see that for the sick nasty roll, I shortly need to take this hand off to be able to pass the legs. This is not needed for the Darkside Roll. On the Darkside Roll, you can actually just keep the hands on the line and land between the hands. So big bounce, go down to sofa, grab the line on the side and try to go to feet. Almost. I think I'm gonna get it next try. So now for the Supersonic. The leash management is not super important in my opinion. I just leave it between the legs. I take a rather big bounce, go for a normal rocket mount with my feet staying in front while going down, kicking backwards at the lowest point, and instead of just like letting them float to the front again, I try to go a bit bigger, take the legs a bit higher up to then have more options to really kick down hard to get the necessary rotation. I'm much stronger in the reverse Supersonic. You can of course also try that, but in the reverse Supersonic it's gonna be a double rotation overall it's more difficult. I'm gonna show you both. I start with the normal Supersonic. So now for the reverse Supersonic, it's really also the reverse motion. I would recommend, instead of dropping down to the back of the line, to initiate it like with the reverse rocket mount, where you drop down to this side. And I'm gonna start with a pre-exercise where you end up in the belly position. And the first time you're in the belly position, you do kind of like a pop with the body, like you end up on the line, you pop again, and this gives you the necessary pop to go to feet or just to do the extra rotation in the end. Let's start with the pre-exercise before going for the reverse Supersonic. Drop down, kick to the front, duck. So that would be the pre-exercise. You saw in the middle how I popped again. And I'm gonna give one try to feet, and otherwise just put another video of me managing this trick. So getting a solid bounce, and now dropping to the front, kick to the front, and hoopla. And now for this challenge, one has to turn around. I think here it's going to be timed because we want to walk the other side. So I just stand, Timon is doing everything. So when falling, grab each other and then it's safe. Pew! Okay, so I'm basically doing nothing. Timon is doing everything for this challenge, and he needs to have the leash in the front to push it. And then I basically stand with my foot between his legs. Nice, and then we try to do 10 steps like that. Time for the hands in pocket almighty. And here you have to combine two skills. First of all, have a really solid bounce with the hands in pockets. So that's something you can keep learning totally apart from almighties. And then of course have a very solid almighty. Hoppla. So I'm going to continue here with the orbital, and I have to admit I never stuck an orbital feet to feet. I only so far managed the reverse orbital. Just the orbital, like I let the line go to this side and rotate it to my back. And for the reverse orbital, or also called the eclipse, I take it in my back and rotate it here. Anyway, what's super important with either of those is that you stay totally upright. With most of the tricks you want to lean to one side, and here you should absolutely not lean. Go for a big bounce, not monster bounce, because otherwise you lose control when starting the trick, but just a very big bounce. And for the leash, for the orbital, you want to have it in front. It also works with the eclipse. I have a different technique with the leash handling. I have it totally on my back for the eclipse. And for the eclipse, I just like let the line pop to my hand. I grab it here, and when I have it here, I have to like re-grab the line, grab it with the other hand and bring it to my feet. I'm gonna show you that before I give some more advice for the orbital. So for the orbital, the initiation would be that you guide the line with your front foot to your opposite hand. So with the front foot you shift the line to the side, you grab it with the opposite hand, and now comes a difficult transition, because with the hands you want to grab it in this way, like it's more natural to grab the second hand like that, but you have to really grab from the other side and get the line down to your feet with that hand. I'm gonna give it one try, even though I never managed in my life yet. It's on my tick list. I'll get it soon, I hope. Let's see what happens when I try right now. Cool, pretty happy with that try. I got it to Korean, and that's also a really good pre-exercise for the Orbital. For the dirty sofa, I recommend having the leash on the side. If you have it in the middle and miss the line with the hook, you're gonna end up with the leash between the legs, which is not cool. I'm first gonna show you what you wanna do. So you wanna go to sofa position, and then when leaning backwards, I recommend to do the back version. It's a bit easier than the front version. You take over that leg and hook it here. So it's a bit of a weird initiation. You need to shift the weight to one side of your butt and hook the line with that foot, and then you end up like in a normal almighty position. Let's try it with dynamics. Woohoo! First try, yeba! So for the backflip, I have to admit that I never even got close to sticking that one, but I will just try my best to explain how to do it. So if you have the right foot in front, it's ideal if you roll also over the right shoulder. And leash handling is leash to the side on that side where you roll. So also for me on the right side. And then you can split up the motion into a roll from feet down to Korean, and then either from Korean or from back bounce position up to feet. So like in two different tricks that you should learn first and then combine it to one trick. Overall, you go pretty late in the bounce, almost at the top. You try to initiate the move. And when you initiate it, you almost sit down before pushing off with the legs. Yeah, here we go. Cool. So that's the first part that you should learn. And the second part is from Korean or from back bounce to feet. Also here, weight long and low. Oops. I think I should show you a little bit of a nicer version. Woo! Cool. So when you get these two things, you just combine them together to the backflip. And I also have some homework to do because it's clearly on my tick list now. For surf sanding, the line, there is not too much to say. The line here that I'm standing on is a bit tight. It's better to have a looser, more surfy line. But anyway, when you want to get a decent surf, hopefully a bit bigger than what I'm doing at, try to always take the step on the outer side, kind of like now with the left foot, now with the right foot, now with the left foot, now with the right. If you get more solid and have a bit more time in the middle of the line, you can also go for 2 steps or even 3 steps at one time to get a bit faster in the sanding, kind of like this and here. And you can try to keep pushing like that to keep the surf going, and then just sand the entire line and obviously stop the surf and sit down maybe 5 or 10 meters before the end of the line. Cool. Here with a slightly bigger surf, one more time, how the walking technique could look. Sometimes when you feel unsafe, just take a short break to readjust and just keep going for an entire line. That was surf sanding the line. Oopala. So So this was level 10, the ultimate level of the Highline Ticklist. And if you got here, I'm sure you can start combining the tricks and play around on your own. I hope you enjoyed the whole challenge, and if you did, please don't forget to drop a like and yeah, upload some of your videos, put the hashtag Highline Ticklist so that also other people can get inspired by your tricks.